Hey, everybody, welcome to Absolutely Marvel and DC, or Absolutely Comics. What are we called now? Is
I
it
think we're just
official?
absolutely these days.
Absolutely. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm Sal. That's Hussin. We're talking about two big old casting choices. But of course, if you want more, make sure to like that video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you guys next time. It's been a long time. I had a
I
really
know,
rough
right?
week. I had a really rough week.
Look,
Uh,
subscribe, watch the stuff because we're gonna get into the nitty
the meat
gritty
and
of the comic book
potatoes.
world, the meat and potato of what's happening right now.
Damn right. We got two big casting announcements. The first of which is, of course, that Pedro Pascal has been confirmed as Reed Richards from an unlikely source, and we have our Supergirl. And
That's
who?
confirmed by a very likely source, the CEO of DC, which kind of love that. I think
Yeah.
it's there was the Marvel showmanship of having their giant events and timeline announcements at Hall H at Comic-Con and in their own events at what is it, that Disney convention that I'm always
Oh,
forgetting.
D23.
D23, they did announcements there. Now that fanfare is done. James Gunn just he doesn't put out a tweet.
No,
He goes on to
Blue
Threads.
Sky or something. Yeah,
He goes on
Threads.
Threads. Yeah. and
he's
he'll
like,
announce all the casting and stuff. But yeah, we'll get into casting number dose first because I think that one's confirmed and maybe something worth chatting about for a bit. But Millie Alcock from House of the Dragon, the lead woman in that show in the flashbacks, is now Supergirl, which I think is pretty crack casting. It's fantastic.
Never seen the show. But that's because it came out around the time when the main show, Game of Thrones, was really bad.
Yeah.
So I had no incentive to watch any more Game of Thrones ever. And so I didn't. And I think I'm all the better for it. That said, I do think it's interesting because the thing that's interesting about it, because it's an actor I have no context for, she's blonde, she's a woman, Supergirl, ta-da, is that Matthew Vaughn has an opinion about that.
Matthew Vaughn?
Yeah, director of X-Men First Class.
Yeah.
He thought it was funny that, or curious that a casting announcement would be made without them being in a movie. You know what I mean? Like they were like, "Oh, why are we announcing a casting for a character before the movies comes out? Like,
why are we making Argyle, Matthew? Maybe you have other questions to work on,
exactly,
buddy."
Yeah, like
my Golden Boy's been dropping turds instead of films for some time now. If you could maybe pick up the pace.
That's what I'm saying. I thought it was so funny. I'm like, dude, like, and then proceeded to be like, oh, and I'd be happy to direct the Supergirl movie if anybody asked. And it's like, you're not going to neg your way into a job.
I love it. I love it. Compliment sandwich to James Gunn. Like, hey, weird you're announcing this. I'd love to be the director, but really don't have a movie on the books.
Yeah,
they do have a movie on the books, unless I'm insane. Wasn't that part of James Gunn's announcement? Yeah.
No. Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow is a movie. It's happening. There's a script writer. There's obviously a piece that's being adapted. And Gunn went further and said that Supergirl is going to premiere in the Superman Legacy movie, along with like 2/3 of the DC universe sans Batman. The only thing we've gotten a confirmation that we'll not see is Batman in the Superman Legacy movie.
I'm rocking with. I think based on recent adaptations of Batman and Superman on the silver screen, we could be due for a longer siesta from that dynamic.
Agreed.
Wonderful dynamic.
I've wanted it to work on
screen. I want to see the
best
best friends. I want to see the super best friends with their stoic little relationship on Bruce's side and all the love in the world from Clark. That's one of my favorite things in comics, in every cartoon that does it right.
Right?
It's crazy that they're antagonists and the only thing they have in common, Marthas.
Yeah, their moms have the same first name, which is a weird detail that like most comic book retailers are aware of. Anyway, that was the big news about Supergirl. She's debuting in Superman Legacy along with everybody else. She is getting a movie. There is no director attached. She was in House of the Dragon, and
she's great, guys. I mean, I think she's super talented. So originally they casted the older actress in House of Dragon. If you don't know, House of Dragon, I think for 4 episodes is them younger, and then it'll be 4, which is kind of cool because usually you'll get flashbacks rather than just like let's start at the opening point. And for the 2 characters that they had to recast, because the rest of the cast was like age ambiguous kind of people could play younger or older. They had Emily Carey play Alicent of Hightower, and they had Millie Alcock play Rhaenyra Targaryen. And Emily Carey, crazy casting when you look at her and Olivia Cooke, who played her later. Like, they look identical. And then Emma D'Arce looks a good bit different than Millie Alcock, but I personally prefer Millie Alcock's performance to Emma D'Arce. But they said they cast the older person first, then they got the younger person. It's awesome. I mean, she was a borderline no-name actress who went
Yeah.
on and did probably one of the best performances on an HBO show that we've had in ages. And yeah, Game of Thrones, real hard to watch. My girlfriend got into it. I want to say like 6 or 7 months ago, and we were making our way. We were flying through the series. It's so good. This is so good. And now we've been on the last 6 episodes for the last 6 months
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
that show sucked. But I
Right.
really liked House of Dragon. It was fun. It was less sexually gratuitous for the sake of doing it. It definitely had scenes, but it was less like, we had some creative liberties taken in that original show.
Yeah.
And Millie shows her to be an actress with presence and good timing and good energy, and she's gorgeous. And I think that, like, I personally am a much bigger fan of this casting as opposed to the one that we just had in The Flash.
Yeah.
I did not like. I'm tired of characters with really iconic looks not getting to have their iconic looks. Like, I
Yeah.
like Supergirl. Like, I don't need every character in every mythos and comic books to be tan and blonde and white, but she's a tan, blonde, white girl from Krypton, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I'm cool with it. Calvin
No.
Ellis exists. There's a black guy on Krypton. Val Zod exists. So hey,
Right.
we got some people of color
Yeah,
there.
we're good.
But I'm
But
satisfied with Supergirl being the way she is.
oh, I agree. I know there's some controversy about Sasha Kaye getting not snubbed, but rather like she didn't get the big premiere that I think everyone was hoping for. I liked her in Flash, but I think I'm ready. I just in the interest of transparency and continuity, I'm cool with a clean break. I mean, like, if you want my white straight guy's opinion from the internet that has nothing to do with these productions, I'm looking for a clean break. I just want like a new universe. That said, let's talk about the other casting decision that was made that we all kind of were hoping wasn't true. Pedro Pascal is Reed Richards. And
according to
an unlikely source, you'd think it was like, maybe the director of the Fantastic Four movie or Kevin Feige
himself. Yeah,
Yeah.
who knows?
Nope. It was the Screen Actors Guild confirmed it.
When have they ever confirmed anything?
Right. Well, they confirmed their contract this past year.
Yeah.
But
They confirmed screwing over a lot of younger actors and falling flat on negotiation, even though we striked for hundreds of days, and it affected everybody's jobs in that industry and in our industry and in the world of media and entertainment and people's lives, to then not get a fair deal for their actors. So that's what they're known for. And I guess they want to rebrand from that controversy to being like, hey, we cast Pedro Pascal is in Marvel. You guys still like Marvel, right? Ooh, wow.
Yeah. What do you think about the casting of Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards? Because I kind of hoped it was just scuttlebutt from the internet, like generating a rumor. I love Pedro Pascal. I think he's amazing. Never thought this feels like a decision that was made where they're like, you don't understand. People don't like Reed Richards. We need someone people like who will say the things that Reed Richards says. Otherwise, no one will accept him.
Yeah, I think I love Pedro Pascal, and he might just be he's not my first pick. And I do think, however, he's so charismatic on screen. Reed Richards is a guy who toes that line pretty perpetually, where he is kind of a scumbag piece of shit and a hero at the same time, right? Like, you toe the line of villain. That's why we have the villain version of Reed Richards, the Council of Reed, and Pedro Pascal seems like the guy with the kind of range and track record to do that successfully. Now, does he have the look? Not necessarily. He can't really grow the kind of gruff beard that we like on an older Reed Richards from the future. John Krasinski hit that on the hit the nail on the head with that. But that confirms that we're gonna have Pedros with very different actors playing different Reed Richards, right?
Yes.
In the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which is exciting. So, like, I'm okay. He's a little older too. I thought they were going with a younger group of people, but I don't really know what they're doing anymore, because I don't know how they're going to rope this into continuity, to be fair. I'm pretty
that's
lost
Marvel.
on that.
Marvel is very like, I have a great idea for an actor. I saw him in a movie in 1991. I think he'd be great. It's just they're thinking 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I'm amazed that they got Tom Holland, a relative unknown who was actually around the age. Like, I honestly am surprised that they didn't go like, why couldn't Spider-Man be 35? Obviously, be played by a 50-year-old, but he'll play a
Mhm.
35-year-old. Like,
Course. Well, I mean, hey, we almost got that. I mean, Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man was the original Spider-Man to debut in the MCU, and he was a considerably older Spider-Man comparatively to like what we ended up getting.
hmm Yeah,
But
that
it's
moment when
weird.
Electro was talking to him, and he's in No Way Home, and he's like, "You're just a kid," and he's like, because he's like 39.
Yeah. I mean, Andrew Garfield is 45 years old now, I think. He's an
Yeah,
old man.
yeah.
Maybe not 45. So don't quote me on that, but
I think he's in his like early 40s, if that. But in any case,
yeah.
yeah, the Pedro Pascal and of it all, it says a lot of things for me. It's because we've been doing this a long time. It says to me that they don't trust the material, similarly to like how they cast Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange, where they were like, he's hot and new, make him the guy that we don't understand or really like want to make a movie about. And so they did that, and I'm like, oh, so with Pedro Pascal, that's my concern, is that they don't really have a lot of faith in it. The other thing is
Yeah.
that he is an older actor, and when I say older, I mean older than like the Fantastic Four kind of should be if you're going to introduce them. So it means that the F4 has to skew older, because it means Sue has to be around Pedro Pascal's age at the
Yeah.
very least. So it's like, okay, so that's got to skew older, which means, are we going to get like a true origin of the team? Probably not. They'll probably already have so like we can extrapolate a lot from just that one kind of like
Yeah.
announcement slash non-announcement.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how they rock it. I don't know. It's gonna Marvel doesn't really have anything going on that I'm tracking very well, if that makes sense. Like it's
That's
pretty
fair.
sporadic. We don't know what they're doing. Jonathan Majors is out, so Kang might be out effectively as the villain.
Oh, we have to assume he's out. We have to assume
Yeah,
Kang is done. That they're like, I mean, I've heard rumors, rumblings, but it's nothing official. Nothing's been confirmed that like Kang is just they're like, we're not doing Kang. But I have heard rumors that like they're still trying to figure it out, and it's like,
yeah.
just don't, just let it go. There's so much you can ignore from your
There's
universe that you've made mistakes on.
Just give us something good and we'll let go of the rest. I promise. I
Yeah,
promise that Marvel's the same way that we had some kind of mediocre Marvel films and then Winter Soldier happened. And people are like, whoa,
yeah,
that movie was insane. And then we had Ragnarok. Whoa, that movie, wait, that was wild. Oh my God, Marvel might know what they're doing. And then we had Infinity War and Endgame and
hmm
Spider-Man and the other Spider-Man and the other Spider-Man. We're like, whoa, this is on fire. And then we got some stinkers. Okay. Then we
yeah.
got some sleepers. We got some real bombs. Not in the box office. I know you guys are going to
No,
correct me. Be like, they made a lot of money. I know.
no.
I was
We
there.
no
I
box office
spent the
bomb
money.
still means it's bad.
Yeah.
That it didn't do well. But yeah, man. So I mean, like those are two official quotations announcements from
Yeah.
the world of comic book superhero movies that are head scratchers, that are like, oh, like whereas with Supergirl, I think relatively, unless you're into Game of Thrones, and particularly Game of Thrones spin-offs like House of the Dragon,
Relative unknown.
relative unknown. And with Pedro Pascal, very known, and also kind of like is that your best
I think,
choice?
think that's a really foolish decision.
Yeah,
Marvel killed it by casting these relative unknowns or these actors known for other things. Like you cast Chris Evans, comedy actor, as Captain America, and you hit it out of the park.
yeah,
Tom Holland, he was doing Moby Dick. He was doing Moby Dick, and then he did Spider-Man. Like
yeah,
incredible casting. Hemsworth was an unknown. Robert Downey Jr. needed a redemption path. Like there's so many different actors that they pulled from for years that have led to success, and now they're only grabbing A-listers and they're recasting. Like, at this point, it's taken so long to make the Ant-Man movies that the little girl who played Cassie in the original two movies
yeah,
is old enough to play old Cassie Lang. But
yeah.
instead, we had Emma Furman, and now
Mhm.
we have Catherine Newton.
Yes.
And it's like, yeah, geez,
And
guys.
she's not even confirmed. Like she has not been approached, according to her. I think she said something about like she's like, I don't know if I'm in any more movies. Like they literally name dropped her at the end of the Marvels,
Yeah.
and she's like, they could recast me. And like if I were playing Cassie Lang in another reality, I'd be concerned that
Yeah.
I'd be unceremoniously replaced.
You got to have a narrative reason for that. Like there's something in the universe that's altering it like Spider-Verse style that's changing the actress of the daughter.
There actually
'Cause
is a
they're
story you could do, which actually ties in with Kang. There's a book called The Avengers: The Children's Crusade, because Cassie's a stature on the Young Avengers, and she's in love with Iron Lad, who's actually Kang. And so, like, You could shade, you could, because the idea is she dies. Spoilers
Mm.
for a book that's 20 years old, but like she dies at the end, and Iron Lad's like, I'm gonna fix this, and the act of going back in time to try and unmake Cassie's death makes him become Kang. It's like, so you could have Iron Lad look mucking through time as a proto Kang, and each time he tries to save her, he keeps resetting like her, zygote to the point where she's a different person each time.
There it
They're
is.
not gonna do that.
Hey, it works. We need explanations, okay? Why did Terrence Howard become Don Cheadle?
We
Somebody,
demand explanations.
I've been waiting.
It's not that Ike Perlmutter is weird and Terrence Howard wanted more money. It's that someone punched reality and altered the the time of day that Jim Rose's parents had sex.
Oh my god.
But yeah, that's it. We've talked enough. It's time for us to move on. We thank
Everybody's
you so much for
been
watching.
casted in these movies, and no movies have come out. And I want to watch movies. I know this is my job. I don't really care to talk about them anymore. I just want to watch some good movies again. So
I would love to sit down and see a movie and go, boy, I can't shut up about this movie. I can't wait to talk about it. I just watched the new Transformers movie, and I'm still waiting.
Yeah. Well, guys, we have been absolutely, and comment down below what your fan castings of Supergirl and Pedro Pascal, not Pedro Pascal, and Reed Richards are, and then fan cast Pedro Pascal. Who do you want playing him in his biopic? Who's close to Pedro? I'm curious your thoughts down below. I've been Huston. That's been Sal. We've been Absolutely, and we'll see you sometime soon. Goodbye.